Last night, Debbie and Jason McDermott missed the budget speech because they had to take 15-year-old son Harlem to footy training.
It does give us a connection with other families and team members' families as well, and how they're going, and you have a chat and stuff like that, and to have that connection outside of your four walls is quite nice too.
Oh, good ball, good ball!
The family has felt the financial pain of the COVID-19 recession, with Debbie losing her job.
I worked in travel, so I got made redundant in March. So yeah, we've kind of been like a lot of families around Australia affected in that way. Sort of go into panic mode, but Jason's kind of the one with a level head, and he's like, everything's going to be okay, like we'll work through it.
Jason has kept his job as a retail manager, and so the family stands to get a tax cut of more than $1,000 under the measures outlined in the budget. But the economic impact will be muted if people, like the McDermotts, don't spend the extra cash in their wallets.
Look at the savings rate in Australia at the moment. Around the middle of the year, it jumped up to the highest level that we've seen since 1974. It looks like a lot of that stimulus money is finding its way into bank accounts. It's not being spent the way the government intends or hoped, and that is the risk going on from here.
To go out and frivolously spend money wouldn't be a good idea, and I think most people would try and save a little bit or pay down some debt so they're more comfortable in their day-to-day life rather than going out and just spending it on something they may not necessarily need.
The government is framing this as a job creation budget, and there's a range of incentives for businesses to hire more workers. The government will pay businesses that hire unemployed young people. The subsidy ranges from $200 a week for workers aged up to 30 or $100 a week for those up to 35. There's also apprenticeship support, where the government will pay half the wage of up to 100,000 new apprentices and trainees. For the program to work, small business owners like butcher Darren Doblinger need to take it up.
$4 there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the last few months have been pretty hard going, trying to keep the shop going with very little income, as a lot of other people. COVID has affected my business pretty dramatically. I supply a lot of raffle trays to clubs around the area, and since the lockdown the clubs have been closed and they have lost 70% of my business, and that has not returned because the clubs haven't reopened to full capacity.
Darren had to let go of his casual workers, but has managed to keep his second-year apprentice Grace on.
She's been great, helping me out with what she can. I've been really appreciative of JobKeeper because that's basically been paying her wages while we're in this COVID shutdown type period.
If things improve in the economy, he will look to hire another young worker.
After Christmas, I've got an inkling that my raffle trays will come back on board. So when they do come back on board, I will look at trying to find another first-year apprentice to help me out that way, instead of the casual staff as such. So that would be a great initiative for my business.
We're effectively reducing the cost of hiring people. Labour costs are lower, and that's typically an environment where companies want to take on more people. Now, of course, it does require demand in the economy to be actually growing again to justify that hiring.
Tourism has been badly hit by this recession. This new zoo in Sydney's West had only been open a few months before the pandemic forced it to close.
Closed for 7 weeks, and now we're operating at severely restricted capacity. We have no tourists and we've had no schools, so we're operating in a very constrained environment. Unfortunately, we had to very rapidly stand down a lot of staff, arrest the cash burn as quickly and as hard as possible.
As well as offering incentives to hire workers, the budget also offers a big inducement to investment. Businesses like Sydney Zoo will be able to instantly write off the cost of any new equipment over the next 2 years. But Jake says with domestic border closures still in force, he's reluctant to take a punt on investing more.
I think the trajectory and the management of COVID, particularly in New South Wales, has been very, very good, and confidence builds every day in the way we're going. But right now, you'd have to say that on balance, the risk is persuading you towards the negative. The returns on any investment that you're going to put in now would have to be virtually stratospheric and guaranteed to actually put that money in the ground.
The government's been quite clever in a way that there is a time limit to when you can use this investment allowance, and it's all designed to get people out there using it now when you actually need that stimulus coming through.
Back in Brisbane, while the McDermotts welcome the extra cash, they're concerned about the nation shouldering an estimated $1 trillion in debt.
Our kids and maybe even our children's children are going to be paying for 2020 for a very long time. I think 2021's hopefully going to be a good year.
And let's face it, I don't think it can get any worse.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.